OpenAI's new Daybreak initiative will help open source projects fend off bugs. China has taken back the top spot in the latest supercomputer ranking. And the Oversight Board says Meta needs to do more to protect regular people from sexualized deepfakes. It's Tuesday, June 23rd, and here's a quick look at some of the news happening in and around tech this morning from Engadget. OpenAI has launched Patch the Planet, a new initiative part of its Daybreak cybersecurity program, which was designed to serve the open source community. The company is working with cybersecurity firm Trail of Bits that has committed its entire security research organization for the project. In its own announcement, Trail of Bits said that while models like GPT 5.5 Cyber can produce a fire hose of security findings for users, project maintainers who are already stretched thin will have to sift through all of them to identify real vulnerabilities from false positives. Patch the Planet is meant to reduce project maintainers' burden by putting them in contact with security researchers who use OpenAI's top models and Codex security to identify vulnerabilities and review findings before they even reach the maintainers. The researchers then work with maintainers to develop and test patches, as well as to create workflows that maintainers can follow to continue improving their project's security. For the initiative's first week, Trail of Bits security engineers worked with 19 open-source projects using OpenAI's Codex and GPT 5.5 cyber models. The company said its engineers discovered hundreds of legitimate bugs and 51 issues, 19 of which have already been fixed. OpenAI said more projects will join in future rounds. The company launched Daybreak back in May in response to Anthropic's Project Glasswing. The company explained at the time that Daybreak is built around the premise that cyber defense should be built into software from the start and not just revolve around finding and fixing vulnerabilities. Its goals are to reduce hours of analysis to minutes and to quickly generate and test patches within repositories. China has taken the world's fastest supercomputer crown for the first time since 2017. LineShine from the nation's National Supercomputer Center hit 2.198 exaflops of performance, beating the previous champ Capitan, located at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in the U.S. LineShine, a previously unlisted machine, is the first supercomputer to exceed 2 exaflops of sustained double-precision performance using CPUs only. That's according to top500.org. China's new machine was able to beat its U.S. counterpart despite technology embargoes because it does not rely on GPUs like other leading models. Instead, it's designed around a custom 304-core processor with 13.79 million cores running at 1.55 gigahertz and linked by a proprietary interconnect. It draws around 42.2 megawatts of power for an efficiency of 52.07 gigaflops per watt. Top 500 organizer Dr. Jack Dongara said, "It's an impressive system. They upped us by developing a system that is not reliant on GPUs." Though China managed to seize the top spot, the new ranking now boasts 5 systems beating the exascale threshold, with 1 in China, 3 in the U.S., and 1 in Germany. Top 500 noted a great deal of architectural diversity with this year's list, with different supercomputer models using Intel, AMD, NVIDIA, and other architecture. Top 500's Dongara said, "There is no single dominant technology path to leadership-class computing. Instead, vendors are pursuing a variety of CPU, GPU, APU, and custom accelerator approaches." China has often kept its supercomputer designs under guard due to government restrictions, but LineShine was developed without public funding, so its designers felt that they could submit it to Top 500's tests without issue, according to the New York Times. The company did not reveal certain details like which company manufactured the CPUs or the type of chip technology used. Meta's oversight board has called on the social media company to strengthen its protection for ordinary people targeted by sexualized deepfakes. The board recommended the addition of AI-generated impersonations in Meta's adult sexual exploitation policy, arguing that those images and videos are non-consensual by default. It also wants Meta to allow users to designate connected accounts, such as trusted friends and family, who can report potential violations like non-consensual intimate imagery on their behalf. Finally, the board recommended making AI-generated sexual impersonation a separate category from harassment and nudity in the company's content reporting and appeal forms. At the moment, only the residents of Texas and Florida have access to a specialized form that lists deepfake intimate imagery as a reason for the report. The board wants all Meta users to have access to it because AI-generated non-consensual intimate abuse, including sexualized impersonations, is a global issue. The Meta Oversight Board came up with these recommendations after investigating an incident where the company kept ignoring a user's report about the sexualized impersonation of a friend on Instagram. It launched the investigation after it received an appeal from the user who reported an AI-generated video on Instagram showing a woman adjusting her dress with her underwear visible in a few frames. According to the board's report, the reporter said they were a friend of the person being impersonated in the video without consent. The person who was depicted in the AI video had already closed her account. The board says Meta's responses to its investigation indicated that the only viable way for non-public figures to establish non-consent is to self-report. It would not be easy for an ordinary person to get law enforcement or the media involved. These avenues are mostly accessible to just public figures. Meta is required to respond to these recommendations, but it's not obligated to implement them. If it does choose to adopt them, the board will monitor the implementations. For the particular case that started this investigation, the board has overturned Meta's decision to leave the video up and has required the company to remove the post. Thanks for listening. There's more tech news at Engadget.com. This episode featured journalism from Mariella Moon and Steve Dent. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back tomorrow with more tech news from Engadget.